We are weak, fragile, biological entities that appear, born from the chaos of the universe, to temporarily wander around the cosmos. In the words of Carl Sagan, we are the universe experiencing itself, or something like that. I don't know. My memory is not perfect, and that feels like a problem to me. One that I tried to solve through this project. Now, what I keep bumping up against in this project is the fact that my memory is in fact as fragile as I am. I wanted to run across the city. So that I would be able to have this very long memory map so that I can visualize information and place it onto the memory map. One, because physical exercise is one of the most important things for brain health, but also because our memories evolved in the Pleistocene era, I know, very fancy, for tempospatial navigation. And the nervous system can be split into two parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Para, coming from the Latin or ancient Greek, who knows, to stop. It's the same thing in Spanish. Stop, parasympathetic. Nervous system says, relax. You're home. You're in your cave, you're by fire. Let the oxytocin come through. The system can start winding down to repair itself. You've exhausted yourself today long enough. Sympathetic. Move! There's a fucking bear coming! Run! Or play possum. Or try to appease the bear. Or shit yourself and faint. Sympathetic. The heart beats because your body's gotta run. And for God knows how long. So when we're running, longer exhales, slow the heart down. When I was a kid, my dad used to store his medals in my coat rack, and every time that I'd go to get dressed, I would hear the rattling of his medals for his marathons and his half marathons and all of his races. He would just sort of hang them, and I'd see them on a daily basis. You see, he's a big, buff, bald man. And he has 3 brothers that are all big, bald, and buff. The 4 of them were woken up at 5 a.m. every day to go swimming. And they were national swimming champions. The 4 of them have this mentality about being the best at everything, all of the time. My dad runs 10K every day as a warm-up, and then he does CrossFit for an hour, and he's 50. Is he a masochist? Yes. But in his own eyes, he sees himself as a hero. There is something dignified about persevering through hard work and doing that every single day. My dad engaged in this running competition after his own dad died. By the end of my grandpa's life, his lungs were at 20% capacity, and he could only walk up and down the hall. His daily heroic effort was getting up from a chair and moving toward his bed, and then back to the dining room table. That to him was his daily marathon. My grandmother has Alzheimer's. She was a translator for decades. She translated from English and French to Spanish. And we've progressively seen her lose her cognitive ability. And I contrast that with my mother being on her almost 1 year Duolingo streak. I don't know. There's something about coping with this fear of death by striving, reminding ourselves that for this brief moment we are still alive and we are still capable. So I'm wondering too what I may find in the striving. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Oh, do you want to put the water in the bag or are you good?
No, I'm good. I like the rhythm that it produces.
Yeah.
See? Anyhow, what the fuck even is an ADHD diagnosis, huh? Byul-Chung Han talks about how our models of discipline are changing. Before, there used to be clear distinctions between boss and employee, and motivations to work were seen through reward and discipline. Today, as I'm experiencing right now with a camera on me, our pervasive culture of surveillance and self-branding and attentional capital mean that there's a pervasive feeling of being watched, of having to perform yourself, to create yourself, and in a sense to brand yourself. We're living with this boss inside of ourselves that's constantly looking at us. The distinction between work and life is mute. There's none. This creates what Byul-Chung Han calls the achievement subject. We are disciplined not through the expectation that we'll be directly punished if we don't achieve something, but we are disciplined through an excess of freedom, an excess of possibility. If the world is a meritocracy and I can achieve absolutely anything if I try hard enough, and I have all of these opportunities at my disposal, then I must take all of these opportunities all of the time. This creates a constant self-exploitation, like in Jeremy Bentham's concept of the panopticon, famously popularized by Michel Foucault, in which he writes, when the prisoner does not know when they are being observed, they become both prisoner and warden. To compete or not compete? That is the question. People lust for fame, like athletes in a game. Something. Some of them are crowned, some of them are downed, some are lost but never found, but they always have a story. Most have seen it all. They live their lives in sad cafes, and music halls. You know, I grew up in a gated community in Mexico City, and there's like, it's walled, there's security points. You get transported from there to school, which is also walled, with security guards and security points. Very segregated society. And I was used to using my legs only to get into the car and out of the car. But all of the movement was done for me. I did not walk alone in a city until the age of 15, when I stayed at my friend's house in Bristol. And I was like, what's for breakfast? And she said, eggs. But we need to get eggs. And I was like, okay, how? She was like, well, it's down the road. And I'm like, what? You mean I can go alone? Fucking, I don't know. It was my first time walking alone in a city. And since then, the act of running has felt like rapture. It's like a pendulum swing to the other side. And I can explore wherever I want to with my own two legs. I'm often asked to go back to Mexico. This is my home. And even though I've missed my country for a very long time, I stayed here for another year, another year, another year. You take another step, another step, another step. And at some point your legs start to hurt and your breathing gets tougher and it gets harder to be where you are. You take a break and you start again. And I find your legs are stronger. The beauty of exercise is you try your best, you fail, and you try again. And you realize every day your best is somewhere else. I think migration is similar. And if I ever did want to go back to Mexico, I'd have these runs. I'd be able to close my eyes and see this place, and come back whenever I wanted. Which sounds kind of sad, but that's what happens when you migrate. Your heart is split in two, and that's okay. You learn that memory isn't always an image or a place, but a feeling. I know my Spanish will get worse if I stay here. I know my idea of what my country was will get more fantastical as I go along. But there's something fundamental in me that reverberates from then, now. And no matter where I end up, nothing will erase the fact of the life I lived. My grandpa was a socialist in the 60s in Mexico. He was part of the communists in Mexico until a branch of his group turned violent and started kind of like guerrilla warfare in the country. And then he stopped being a socialist. Something he's always taught me is there is nothing more dangerous than ideas. I think ideas can make anything seem attractive. Even violence to another sentient being. Whatever idea it's justified under, there is no justification for violence. I am you, you are me. We're all brothers and sisters. Why would I want to hurt you? Call it naive, call it hopeful. I believe in it. You know, Jane Goodall said, hope is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's so small, it's so small.
And if we
you gotta walk to it.
It'll keep on getting larger.
And the longer you walk, the larger it gets. Even and especially in the darkest of circumstances. I know it's easier said than done, but that's hope. I just farted, and it was glorious. Look at these glorious fucking trees. Wow. One of the few living entities on this planet that can live for hundreds of years. They're extraordinary creatures. I think I'm ethically aligned with Bob Ross. Happy trees, happy accidents. But hey, I'm okay with misery too, you know? Life's the full spectrum of the rainbow. That includes blue and purple. Sometimes depression makes sense. Sometimes melancholy makes sense. Grief surely does. I don't think those are things to run away from. I was raised a Catholic Christian. And that was a label and a category that for the majority of my life I was at extreme odds with. I was kicked out of Catholicism classes. I just couldn't believe how you could have a doctrine that at the same time preached agape love, right? Unconditional love for all living beings. But at the same time, chastise entire sections of humanity. For a long time I thought, well, I'm not a Christian. Christianity is very dangerous because it's been used to justify horrible acts against large groups of people. Ah, fuck. Philosophical doctrine is very slippery. Words are slippery, concepts are slippery. And again, like all tools, they can be used for different purposes. Call someone a Christian. They could be a conservative in the States. Christian conservative. I hate people. Or they could be a fucking Episcopalian and be like, I love all people. You know what I mean? Same word, completely different philosophy. If I'm to save something from that philosophy, I like agape love. I like an ethics of love as described by Bell Hooks and Joseph Fletcher. Unconditional love for everybody as an ethical practice. Love not as a feeling, but as a verb. And I know that word sounds mushy, but I guarantee you it's not. It's fundamental. What kind of a world do we live in wherein love is taboo or naive? Isn't it the deepest thing we crave once our material needs are satisfied? And I believe in something greater. I believe in something that goes beyond reason. As Kierkegaard said, all faith, all belief requires a leap of faith. And that's something that I wish for everyone. An underlying feeling that beyond reason, beyond whatever our current circumstance is telling us, there is hope. And there is love, wherever we may look for it. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no. It's a never fixed mark that looks upon tempests and is never shaken. It is a star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love is not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out, even to the edge of doom. Out of the night, which covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods may be, for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I've not winced or cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloodied but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears, looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The endeavor of running is similar. However, I believe in the grace of vulnerability and of relying on other people. The futility of our bodies in the end. The lack of control. The meagerness of our position. We're but a drop that emerges from the vast ocean, only to return. I feel a need to be impressive. You know, it's like every deep breath you take has to be justified by some valiant struggle. I think we all deserve a deep breath, and we never have to justify it. We deserve calm, peace, joy, beauty. I don't think that any living thing should ever have to justify its own existence. I think we're all worthy of love. What should I start running? On that note, let me prove to you my worth by running. Look at me, I'm a big strong man. I can go up the hill, I can. Look at me, I have strong legs of steel. I'm running up a hill. I'm giving you statistics and facts, philosophy. I'm impression.